Alright, so our next chapter is chapter 9, and it's the Americas. And this is going to cover North America and South America. Your notes are in Google Classroom, so you should be able to open those and access them and go to town. Alright, so the first thing that we need to cover is that the land bridge existed. So, what the land bridge was that it was called the Beringia, and it was in between Alaska and it was in between Siberia. Siberia is actually a part of Asia. So you have Alaska being a part of North America, and you have Siberia being a part of Asia, and this land that would connect these two, or it used to. And this was when like the polar ice was frozen. It wasn't melted yet. So sea levels hadn't risen, and there was enough land for people to migrate into North America from Asia, and there was enough land for animals to migrate through Asia into North America as well. So that is the Beringia. And like I said, if you have your notes printed, that would be awesome. If not, it's okay. Um, just make sure you're following and maybe going through and highlighting or underlining in Google Docs if that helps you, because you will have a quiz over this stuff or a test. I mean, we're still going to do that, so you have to kind of conform some way. I know it's difficult, but we'll figure it out. So the Beringia land bridge, okay, connected the Americas to Asia. Um, a lot of people that probably traveled from Asia to North America were Asian, so there could be a lot of traces back to people having Asian descent. I don't know, but that sounds smart, right? So possibly. Some experts believe that if you didn't travel from the Beringia, you would travel from other places to America on boat, but obviously, right? Because if everything's melting and there's no land bridging anything together, you're going to travel by boat. So, yeah. All right, people in the Americas. So, we all know what the Ice Age is, and if you want to look up pictures of the Ice Age, you're probably not going to get like accurate pictures because they're probably going to be drawings. Because remember, it was forever and ever ago, like 10 to 20,000 years ago. And also, if you look up Ice Age, make sure you type in history beside it, unless you want to see the movie pop up like I saw earlier. So, people that came to the Americas during the time before like everything was melted, um, they arrived during that ice age, and that land bridge, the Beringia, it brought everything together, and it was easier for them to get into the Americas. So if you look, this is the land that was connected at one point, and it's really interesting to know that like we all used to be connected in some way. And if you ever look at an entire map, you can see where like all the continents used to be one. But with shifts and with environmental changes, that stuff can change at any point. I mean, you can see it with earthquakes now. Like California, they're one earthquake away from being out in the middle of the ocean somewhere. So it's really cool to see this, and it's really cool to understand that we all used to be connected in some type of way. So your ice age, that's when you had your huge glaciers or your big sheets of ice, and they covered large portions of North America. Um, Eventually, you're going to see those melt. And when those start melting, you're going to see sea levels rise. And when those sea levels start rising, that's when you're going to see this Beringia go underwater, because you're going to see the Arctic waters coming up because the sea levels are getting higher, and that's going to be gone. So we see this a lot even now with sea levels rising. I mean, some beaches are disappearing, but that's what happens. I mean, it's the environment, it changes. Also, hunters and gatherers were very important during this time. They were the earliest Americans, and this was their earliest job. They had to find food to survive, and they did just that. So, the most chilling prey was the mammoth. Um, this animal probably migrated. Um, the really interesting thing about this animal was that it provided fur for